Road trips can be expensive, but they can also be very affordable. And I like to do several affordable road trips every single year. This year, I took a trip to go see my son in Maryland, and I'm going to share with you some of the things that we did and some of the things that I did to make it more affordable. I hope you'll stick around. I'm preparing for a road trip, and doing that, I want to be able to eat healthy, not have to go through a drive-through, not have to spend as much money, at least on my way there. I know on the way back, I'm probably going to have to do some of that, but I have healthy foods to take with me. So I'm packing a couple of yogurts. I've got a couple of fresh peaches with some brown sugar. I have some red peppers, some onion, some mustard, some bacon to make BLTs, some tomato to make BLTs, and then I also have some cheese and some turkey to make sandwiches. And I pre-toasted my ciabatta rolls so that they will travel better. And then I packed fresh chard that I have in some water from my garden that I'm going to use as my lettuce in my sandwiches. I had to finish washing up a few things that I was needing to pack before I left. And while I was doing that, we had a roadrunner in our yard. We have a lot of wildlife around here. Sometimes we have deer in our yard. The other day I was sitting out in the yard and a ginormous bobcat went across the road that was kind of scary looking, and he wasn't even 50 feet away. We had an elk running in our nearest city down one of the city streets just last week. So, yeah, we have lots of wildlife around here. So sometimes it gets kind of exciting. But let's get back to our trip. So I pulled over for a bit just so I can do a little bit of catch up with you. I really haven't taken very many breaks. I've just gone to the bathroom and got gas, and that was all. But I am in the Daniel Boone National Forest in Kentucky right now. I'm at a rest area. You can hear a lot of the traffic noise. It is absolutely gorgeous. Out of all the states I've been through so far, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky, I have to say that Indiana and Kentucky have been the most beautiful. I love the rock on the side of the road with the trees growing out of it. That's always been something that I just find absolutely beautiful. Now, I had a gig meeting for the state fair the night before I left, and lots of semis. So I had a gig meeting for the state fair the night before I left for orientation, and then I just decided to leave from there because that's over an hour from my home just to get a head start. And I drove for a couple of hours that night, and I stayed at a Walmart in Kansas. And a lot of people are like, why don't you get a hotel? Well, I look at things like, if somebody said to me, I'll give you $100 to sleep in your car overnight, I'd be like, give me $100. There's some things I would do for $100, and that's one of the things I would do. So that saves me money on my trip so that when I go to see my kids, I can afford to cover us eating out. I can cover us going and sightseeing, and I don't feel a bit bad about that because I've cut corners in other ways. Now, if I traveled with other people, I would definitely get a hotel, but if it's just me, it's no inconvenience. So I stayed in a Walmart the first night in Kansas. Super quiet. A lot of truckers were staying there under a big light in the parking lot. No problems whatsoever. And I decided in Kentucky that I would stay at another Walmart. Same thing, went really well. However, I couldn't stay in the rest areas in Kentucky because they only allow you to stay here for 4 hours at a time. Now, I have trouble seeing after dark, so I definitely have to pull over when it starts getting really dark. I can drive for about an hour in the dark, but then I need to pull over. And so I stayed in the Kentucky Walmart last night. Now, I've been making my own food out of the car like I showed you. I have all the fixings to make my iced coffee in the morning. So far I've only spent money for ice and for milk for food. Everything else I brought with me. I've spent about $76 in gas so far, and I'm about 7.5 hours from my destination. It's funny, the GPS will tell you it's like a 19-hour drive, but I've already driven 16 hours. I have 7.5 to go. And all I did was stop to go to the bathroom and get gas and sleep at night. So yeah, it always seems like it takes longer. I've been stuck in road construction. I've been stuck in one lane bottlenecks. So it's slowed me down quite a bit. And some of that, they say it's taken into consideration on your GPS, but it never seems to. I write down every expense when I travel because I want to stay on top of what I'm spending. I want to stay within my budget. Right now, I have an income of anywhere from $800 to $1,000 a month, and I want to make sure I stay within that budget. So I write down everything, even on vacation, to make sure that I'm staying in budget. So I just wanted to do a little catch up. I wanted to show you this beautiful area that I'm at right now, and I'm going to get back on the road. Another thing that I really like about these rest areas is they have like free visitor guides that you can just pick up inside, and also free road maps if you're like me and you like a hard copy of a road map, because sometimes they have sites to see on the road maps that you're not going to see in the atlas, or they're really hard to see, or something special like that. So I really like picking up these hard copy road maps. This area has a lot of rich Civil War history. So we stopped by the Monocacy battlefield in historic Frederick, and we walked around some of the grounds. We also stopped by one of the homes that had fighting in the yard. They burnt their barn, and we really enjoyed reading and learning more about this historic battle. My son and his girlfriend took me on the metro. This was my first time to ride any sort of subway system, and it was very overwhelming. We then toured some of the Veterans Memorial and Reflection Pool. We saw the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and we even got to see the White House off in the distance at the end. Well, I made it home in one piece, no problems whatsoever. And my husband kept all of my plants alive, so I'm really happy about that. All of the cats were happy to see me, and I'm getting ready to start the state fair gig work here tomorrow. So all is well. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you guys so very much for supporting me, and I hope to see you in the next video.